Shalom. Let's start out by giving our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Harakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, grand millstone, salutations to the Ophalet, this pushing the truth across four corners of the earth and all faith, truth, and sincerity. I'm on about back getting a sitting. As we're going to, what happened today. And we have another earthquake. A powerful 7.7 magnitude earthquake devastates Indonesia. So we have another 7 earthquake, that's in the 7 point, it was a 7.4 Colombia, and I think it was a 7.2 Venezuela. I gotta look at the one. I gotta look at the. Might have to look up the list, but yeah, man. These earthquakes are increasing. They say it was two earthquakes in Indonesia, and so. Say at least 47 people are dead and dozens injured after a 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck off eastern Indonesia on Saturday. A 6.4 magnitude tremor later hit Sumatra, something like that. Excuse me, I'm saying it wrong. And authorities warned the death toll could rise. So, yeah, so these earthquakes, is increasing. And this loyal watch to show y'all shy. Hey, we in those times, man. We in those last days and times. Hey, earthquakes increasing. Up worlds of the people. People, protesting. This gonna get worse. Protesting and so forth, and a lot of things are going on, man. And prophecy, man, Bible prophecy, man, is not slowing down. Lord Yahweh is not gonna slow these earthquakes down and so forth, man. These calamities, these storms, and these storms that bring judgment as well. Yahweh is not, he's not playing around. And the only ones the only ones that Lord Yahweh gonna have mercy on is the elect of the so-called Negro Latino natives. The so-called natives. Natives, so-called Mexicans. Which are the Israelites. And hopefully they'll probably righteous number to escape the rapid judgment of Lord Yahweh. But only the elect's gonna, make it out of this. If you're the elect. The elect gonna be scarcely be saved, but the elect gonna get through it. These times going forward. It's only gonna intensify more and more. It's gonna get more devastating, more devastation, and more. It's gonna get chaotic in the streets of America, Babylon the Great, more, and in the world. It's gonna get real wild out here, man. So. And we only in the beginning of this, man. So it's going to intensify, man. It's going to intensify more and more. Like I say, man, these people, woke up, these people, before yesterday, everything was all good, and now today, earthquake, right? Flood, having floods and stuff like that. People died, and I said that number could rise, So, hey, that's how it's gonna be here in America, Babylon the Great, if a major earthquake hit, if a major earthquake hit, or however, the devastation and calamities that Lord Yahweh gonna bring upon this place, America, Babylon the Great, is gonna affect a lot of people. A lot of people gonna wake up, man. One day, gonna wake up one day and man, just disaster, man, chaos. You know, it's gonna come about, man. Here in America, battling great, these different states, man. Gonna take a lot of people by surprise, man. They weren't expecting for it to happen. But Lord Yahweh Shai, everything His will and time that He brings His judgments. Upon He gonna bring His judgment upon those that ain't right. Whoever that may be, or He bring judgment upon the heathens, and He gonna bring judgment upon His people as well. His people, which are the so-called Negro, Latino natives, so-called Mexicans, which are the Israelites. 2/3 for the most part, gonna get horrific judgments by Lord Yahweh Shai in these times going forward. But let me see something. See some pictures here. Let's see. It says, oh yeah, they had a flood going, after the earthquake that happened. So matter of fact, wait a minute. There's something different. Let me see, is this something different? This is the Indonesia. Oh no, this is the Indianapolis. Okay. They had a flood going on in Indianapolis. I mean, So yeah, I thought it was Indonesia. So yeah, man. Things are happening, man. But I'll get the scriptures to back this up. I ain't gonna make this too long. Zephaniah 3:5. The just Lord Yahweh Shai is in the midst thereof. He would not do iniquity. Every morning doeth He bring up His judgments to light. He felleth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. So Lord Yahweh Shai, He brings judgment every morning, man. Every morning do He bring His judgment to light. And He felleth not, And Lord Yahweh Shai, He gonna execute that judgment. It's gonna be executed. It ain't gonna be, or it wasn't fully executed, so it didn't go through. Or no, it's gonna fully go through. Well, Lord Yahweh Shai, wants something to be done, it's gonna be done. So that's the times that we in. The prophecies of the word Lord Yahweh Shai is gonna come to pass. It's not gonna fail. His words are not gonna fail. The apostles and the elders and the brother Mr. That teaches truth of the word Lord Yahweh Shai. Through the spirit power of Lord Yahweh Shai, it's gonna come to pass. So. I'm saying these wicked people out here, these wicked 2/3 Israelites, that do wickedly, but the wicked are the so-called white people, red Edomite devils are the wicked, the elites of Esau, Edom, that control this world, whatever, that's in power. They're gonna, they don't fit Lord Yahweh Shai, but time has come where they're gonna fear the Most High Yahweh Shai and Yahweh and the Son Yahweh Shai. When like I said, Lord Yahweh Shai returns in chariots for call you a foe. But even before that, you gonna know that the Most High Yahweh Shai is bringing these judgments upon this place, America, Babylon the Great, man. It's gonna shake a lot of these elites and. I say these so-called white people, red Edomite devils, these proud devils, these proud Americans. These 2/3 Jakes out here. You can't tell them nothing. They think they got it all figured out, whatever. They in the rude awakening, man. Cause I said one day, wake up. Major disaster change could happen like that, man. Yahweh Shai had that appointed time for that judgment to come down. But go from there to I know I did bring it out again, but I know I did a video about it was the earthquake that happened in Colombia. I brought this scripture out in Isaiah, so I'm bringing it out again. Just bring it out again. Isaiah 29:6. Isaiah 29:6. Thou shalt be visited, O the Lord Yahweh, Yahweh shall host with thunder, with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. So Lord Yahweh Shah, yeah, he gonna bring those, that storm of, tempest, storm, disasters, by storm, earthquake. Like I said, earthquakes has been increasing, like, it's been increasing. Like I said, it had 7.4 in Colombia, and I think that was a 7.1 in Venezuela. Not too. It was like a couple months ago. Was it a month ago? It was a couple months ago, something like that. Let me see. Hold up. Let me look it back up. See something quick. Earthquakes. Shout out earthquakes last month. See something real quick. Let me see. I'm gonna bring it up. So these are the earthquakes that happened. Matter of fact, hold on. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so Venezuela. Okay, yeah, so Venezuela happened. That was in June. So that was the 6th and 24th on the 24th of June. So that was a 7.5. Hold up. Matter of fact, yeah, it was the 24th. Okay, I'm tripping. So it was the 24th of June, 7.5. So you had a 7.5 Venezuela, and then you had a 7.4 Colombia, and now you just had a 7.7 Indonesia. So it has been increasing, man. These earthquakes have been increasing, man. Lord Yahweh not playing games. But I'm gonna go back. Lord Yahweh, he's bringing his judgment with, like I said, these storms, earthquakes, the fire. Eventually, like I said, that fire gonna come, by the chariot, suck all your foe when Lord Yahweh returns, with the laser beams, but ultimately the thermonuclear missiles, right? But even before Lord Yahweh returns, this place, the cities in America, Babylon the Great, gonna be, on fire. It's gonna, because it's gonna get chaotic out here. It's gonna be, it's gonna be a all-out civil war. And chaos in the streets, and fires in the cities. So the fire are gonna be kindled before Lord Yahweh returns. So. Before the Lord Yahweh returns, excuse me. But hey, that's the times that we ain't going forward, so things are just gonna increase, man. It's gonna get real serious going forward, man. But I didn't want to make this too long, Lord will. I hope this edifying. So again, I'd like to give our praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh, Bahashem, Harakakadash, to the apostle elders, to the sister brothers, to the few Akwaf sisters, to do listen, keep the faith in Yahweh, keep fighting with that. Say shalom.